I feel like there are two kinds of football fans. There's the uber football guy. There's the guy that makes his whole identity about watching ball, sitting down. Saturdays, it's nothing but college slate. Sundays, I'm watching it from, 1 o'clock until 11:30 at night. I've got red zone, and it doesn't matter what's going on in my life. I am a football guy. And then there's the guys that love football, but they are also comfortable with themselves to say, sometimes it is not necessary. Sometimes you could move it a day. Sometimes you just don't need it on a particular day. I am firmly in that camp because the triple header that we got from the NFL was so completely unnecessary, and it speaks to Roger Goodell's greed. And it's something that Charles Barkley, I think, joked about a little bit on the NBA. Like it's not on TNT anymore, but the show that he does. Because the Christmas Day was always the NBA's thing. They would always have a slate of Christmas Day games. That was really the only sport going on, unless you love like English darts, I guess. And they owned Christmas, and the NFL owned Thanksgiving, and it was this kumbaya moment. But then Roger Goodell got greedy. You know why Roger Goodell got greedy? Because he is greedy. And this is another example of it. Was anyone clamoring for Christmas Day football? Like, honestly. Was anyone sitting there? And I'm not talking like you were offered it. I'm talking Christmas Day came and you sat there surrounded by gifts and wrapping paper and kids going nuts over their toys and you went, man, I really wish football was on right now. Maybe you were. Okay, then you're an Uber football guy. I certainly wasn't. But it's much like these games in Brazil that are horrible. The Thursday night games that aren't very good. It is an example of Roger Goodell's greed to not only take over sports, but it seems like just take over the world. Like, he knows that he has you. And the deal that they made with Netflix means that this is not going away anytime soon. Next year, Christmas will be on a Friday. Year after that, Saturday, obviously Sunday. And you know what? If Christmas fell on a Sunday, I'd be like, all for this. But it fell on a Thursday, where typically games are bad because teams are coming off a short week. And not only that, but you got Ola Dukin, Josh Johnson, and Max Brosmer. Now, that's not the NFL's fault. They can't equate for injuries when they make the schedule. But I don't even think the matchups were that good. I don't think the matchups were that good when you made the slate back before the season started. The Chiefs versus the Broncos, okay, divisional rival, I guess. And that was the thing. It was 3 divisional games. But, like, when you made this schedule, you're banking on the Detroit Lions being good, and they're facing J.J. McCarthy, who you know nothing about. The lore of the Chiefs, I personally feel like, went away. And not just this season. I feel like the Eagles put a death nail in their Super Bowl chances moving forward as an elite team. So I didn't look at this matchup as a matchup of elite teams. If you wanted to go into it and say it's Bo Nix versus Patrick Mahomes, okay. But, like, I'm not rushing to the TV and canceling plans for that. And then finally you have Dak Prescott versus who you thought would be Jaden Daniels. It ends up being Josh Johnson. Same thing. Like, the cream of the crop in the division is the Birds. So, like, you've got 2 teams that when you make this schedule, you're figuring they're fighting for a wild card spot. But a triple header on a Thursday is wild and completely unnecessary. Much like putting games in Germany. But hey, you got to grow the global brand, right? So we're going to take away a game. We're going to put it in Germany. Nobody in Germany cares. Nobody's asking for it. Nobody wants it. But damn it, Roger Goodell needs to make that money. And it's just, to me, it's overkill and annoying. I love football. Don't get me wrong. Thanksgiving comes around. I'm all for it. But to have football on Christmas, to me, is completely and utterly unnecessary. And look, maybe I am off base with this, and I'm sure I'm going to have some football guys in the comment section be like, LOL, I guess bro doesn't love football. Yeah, I don't know. I guess not. Like, to me, at some point, you just need to take a step back and go, I don't need a full day when you're getting the Saturday game starting up. They already started up. And then obviously you have a full slate on Sunday. Like, I have other interests going on. And this is coming from a guy that I spent a few hours with the kids, enjoying some time there. But other than that, like, I went home and chilled. Like, it wasn't like I had to go from party to house to party to house and all that. I can only imagine if you were one of those guys, if you had a full slate of things to do on Christmas because, I don't know, either you want to, or your wife's getting on you, or you just had, you just trying to be an adult and you didn't have all those hours to dedicate to watching football that you normally put aside for a Saturday or a Sunday. But the NFL decided, no, 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 we're just shoving it down your throat. And again, the ratings will be great because if you were at a party or if you were at, your grandma's house, of course you put on the game, but how many people are like actually paying attention to it? And obviously, this week is big because of fantasy football purposes. If you're in the championship, I mean, maybe these slated games are huge, but I just think that with everything going on with people on Christmas, knowing that schedules are going to be already jam packed, for the NFL to get so egotistical to go like, no, you know what? We actually trump Christmas. That to me, that ain't it. And it's another example of just Roger Goodell being an absolute ass clown. My disdain for that man grows. And it started really with like the failure to even acknowledge concussions being a problem. And then it morphed into, oh, we're just going to put all these international games and, it's going to be on terrible fields and it's going to up the chance of injuries and all of that. God forbid, by the way, God forbid the NFL move in on Fridays. No, can't do that, right? God forbid. Got to do Thursdays. And don't give me this bullshit of, oh, well, it's because of high school football. The NFL doesn't give a rat's ass about high school football. Just like the NFL doesn't give a rat's ass about Christmas, the NFL doesn't give a rat's ass about fan bases traveling to Sri Lanka to watch an NFL game. Like, they don't care. Because in Roger Goodell's mind, the NFL rules the world. The only reason why the NFL doesn't play on Fridays consistently is dating back to a law that was put in place by, it wasn't FDR, but it might have been like Nixon or somebody, but it was like from the 60s or 50s or 60s. Obviously, it wouldn't have been FDR if it was in the 50s. But it's a long thing of like, basically, they can't get broadcast rights or something until December. Or, I don't know, ChatGPT it. But to me, yeah, I'm in the firmly cemented in the camp that we did not need a triple header on Christmas. We're getting it next year. We're getting it the year after and the year after that. And we're probably getting it on Monday. Whenever Christmas falls on a Monday. The only days we're not going to get it is Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's it. Because obviously Thursday, we saw what happened. But I think it puts the players' safety at risk. It's a dick move to the players, honestly. And I think it's a dick move to the fans, for the most part. Because you're not actually able to, I feel like, really, really focus on the game. You have other priorities. I think most people have other priorities. If you don't, hey, good for you. Let me know what you think, though. Are you in team, this is great, I want more games on Christmas and all that? Or are you of the camp of, like, we didn't really need this, this was unnecessary? Let me know in the comments section. Hit thumbs up, hit thumbs down. You guys know where those buttons are, as well as subscribe. You guys know where that button is. And as always, go Birds.